film lit your fuse and made you have to tell stories on screen?
Lawrence of Arabia. I said, and then of course, it's my favorite film. I always wanted to make one. Of course, I have so much admire of David Lean. I think it was a perfect movie for me. I think it had first of all, it had a great, very well written script, and a lot of dialogue, and great. And by the meantime, all the artwork, the cinema photographer, and everything was so perfect. By the meantime, I love the character, like the Peter O'Toole and Omar Sharif, those kind of characters. Peter O'Toole, to play a man, he always insists what he do is right, and he will try to find find out what the real problem in the world, and also he have a heart can bring all the people together. That's what he always dreamed, what he wished. Even though he couldn't make it, but at least he had a high spirit of, to try to, make all kind of people come together, and he was a great fighter. So that I always wanted to make this kind of movie is a character have a great heart.
Yeah.
For the human being.
And your most famous films had Chow Yun-fat, and that sort of seemed to be a recurring theme. And even this movie now, Silent Night, you can't really root against Joel Kinnaman's character. It's violence, but it's violence for, I guess, noble violence. So
yeah.
Is that something that you carried with you as kind of a gold standard, even though your trademark had been this sort of balletic violence and choreographed gunplay and stuff? What in your mind was the key to your movies that borrowed from a film like Lawrence of Arabia, or even The Seven Samurai, where they were men with a code?
Yeah, that's always, I always believe in the man of the honor, and also with the code honor, the kind of thing, and also as a man have a great love of the family and a great love of other people, that's and care about other people. That's the man I really like. So in like in the Silent Night, like Joel Kinnaman in the movie, he's just an ordinary man. And but do a incredible, job, because he's a man who had, he was a real man to me. That's just like the man from our neighborhood,
Yeah.
So he had a great responsibility for the family and the love of the son, and then so. Like you said, he's when he gonna take a revenge, the violence become noble, because he had a heart,
So as you were coming up as a filmmaker, maybe it was the success of something you did or approval from someone whose opinion mattered to you. What first gave you the confidence that you were where you belong, directing epic films?
When I was working on Face Off, before we start shooting, and the president of the studio, Shirley Lansing, and she had gathering everybody, and getting all the producers and writers and the important people from the studio, and gathering in one room And then she said to everybody, she said, "All I want is a John Woo movie, and nobody should give him any notes." It was great, So I had, and he had gave me a lot of creative freedom, and gave me so much confidence to make such a big, epic film, like a face-off, Then and this kind of big movie, And so I was so happy, And then that movie really could establish myself. I know I can make an epic film movies, and then and by the other hand is all the actors also give me a lot of great confidence. And they all believe in me, and then so the film became everybody happy about it.
And you had, as I recall, you came to Hollywood and there were obstacles to overcome. I don't know if I remember this exactly right, but I think that first one you made with Jean-Claude Van Damme, he actually took it upon himself to make his own cut of the film, which to me is like exactly the opposite of what Sherry Lansing said. But did that happen? And how jarring was it to come to Hollywood, this renowned director, and have to basically compromise?
Well, I was really shocked about that, and he did try to recut, some of my scene, So I was so shocked, because it had never happened in Hong Kong. In Hong Kong, the director is completely auteur. It's completely, can completely control everything. Not by the actors. So and fortunately, we have the great producers like Sam Raimi, Rob Taylor, and Jim Jackson. All those are good people. They have helped me to stop them, for them to do that. And they said a meeting and said, this is a John Woo movie. We should let John to do his job.
Yeah.
So later, and then I can keep my own word to cut a film. So anyway, I just couldn't believe a big star could control everything.
And then you went back to Hong Kong and you made movies there. Can you give me a sense as to why? I can say for myself, I missed you in Hollywood.
After a picture aggression, I feel I couldn't get any more better script, and then by the meantime, there were some producer from China and Taiwan, they all asking me to go to China, do some help for the Chinese movie, because the Chinese movie couldn't get the worldwide release, and then they wanted me to make a movie to open up the bigger market, So I let it try, and by the meantime, I really want to let the young people in China to learn something from Hollywood, some good thing from Hollywood, So I went back to China, Beijing, in Beijing, to make a movie called Red Cliff, and I have brought in quite a half of the American crew in China to work with the local young people, to let them learn from them, to train them, and then that was my wish. And then the movie was so big, it was a Chinese historical epic, and the scene is so big, involved with so many visual effects, and a lot of things. And then, and also they were also hoping me to make a movie to bring back the audience, to bring the audience back to the theater. Because at that time, the people only like to stay at home to watching TV.
Yeah.
So so that's why I feel that to have the responsibility for so many things. So and then fortunately the movie got made, even though it was way over budget, and I have lost my my own money, for I gave it to the production. And anyway, the movie was a huge success in Japan and did very well in China, and it did bring the audience back to the theater. And then the other film also was the historical epic. It was based on a true story, but it didn't work well. So I came back to continue looking for the good material until I found The Silent Night.
Yeah.
The Silent Night is a wonderful script. And also the thing that really surprised me is the script have no dialogue.
Yeah, I have to say, no dialogue, and yet the emotions are as baked into that movie as they were in The Killer, honestly.
Yeah, well, when I was in Hollywood, since I had established as a big movie director, so there are a lot of much smaller scale and much better script, a small movie. They have never come to me, and and then my partner always said, "John, it's too little for you. It's too small for you. You should make a big movie." No. I already got fed up with big movies. So when I got the Silent Night, I feel, even though it was the independent movies, I knew the budget going to be won't that much, So, but I love it. I love the project. I never try because since they had no dialogue, just like Alfred Hitchcock said, every of his movie is an experiment.
Yeah,
I think Silent Night is a new experiment to me. It's allow me to using my specialty to using the visual and the sound to tell a story and let some room for the audience to feel more.
Yeah.
And let them to contact with the actors more, to directly look at the face and feel with the actor, feel with the character. So I think that it's a good try. Yeah.
Now, and one last one, I always wanted to ask you this because, Tom Cruise is a guy he's become legend for the way he puts himself out there and he takes risks and he's just so consumed with putting the best thing on the screen. And you directed him in a Mission Impossible film, but you also deal in Asia and you deal in a different kind of thing where there isn't perhaps as much fanfare with the actors. Is he one of a kind, or are there a lot of actors like him, in Hong Kong and China?
Yeah. There are quite a few of actors like him. They like challenges. They always let them do the most risky, and action. But I still think Tom Cruise is different. The difference is, he's so much concerned about the relationship in between he and the audience.
Yeah.
While we work together, he would like to try every new thing, everything he had never done before. And even though I think in MI2, it was just a start, and it was a try, something, like at the beginning he had a problem with using two guns. So when I asked, persuade him to use two guns for one shot, after one shot, and he feel so great, and then he feel, okay, give me more, and then when we showed the scene, climbing up the cliff, the mountain, and I was so scared, because the cliff was so high, 2,000 feet high, and he will insist to do it by himself, and he like to take a risk, I said, no, we have 3 stunt double, and their look and their body move pretty much like you, exactly, and we can cheer, you're double, and he refused it. And I asked him why. When we're using, the stunt double shot, usually pretty short, just a few frames. And he said, even though just a few frames, it could tell the difference.
Yeah.
The audience will recognize my body movement with a stunt double body movement is very different. So he didn't want to cheat the audience. So that's, and then so it's just like a trial, like candy. After he tried one, and the next one, he tried more dangerous. So I think that there's besides he's a professional, I think he had a very special relationship with the audience.
And what's going through your head is probably like, I do not want it on my resume that I killed the biggest star in Hollywood on a movie set.
Yeah, I know. I was so, I argued with him several times, but he know how to find a way to make me come down and comfort me and make me feel relaxed. And then he asked, John, can I do it myself? It's so funny.